Did you know that over 30% of Americans believe in ghosts? That's right. It's a chilling statistic that hints at the countless eerie experiences people have had. Ghost stories captivate our imaginations, tapping into a universal fascination with the unknown. Today, we're delving into a particularly spine-tingling tale, a story that promises to keep you on the edge of your seat. Meet the Tallman family, a seemingly ordinary family living a peaceful life in their cozy suburban home. They enjoyed their days, filled with laughter and mundane routines, but their lives were about to take a dramatic turn. It all began when they decided to redecorate the kids' room and purchased an old bunk bed from a local yard sale. Unbeknownst to them, this was no ordinary piece of furniture. It harbored a deeply unsettling history that would soon transform their lives in the most chilling way. Let's set the scene. The Tallman family was excited about their new acquisition. The bunk bed, with its intricate carvings and sturdy frame, seemed like a fantastic find. The kids, Sophie, aged 8, and Jake, 12, were thrilled to have their own separate sleeping spaces for the first time. The bed was carefully assembled in their shared bedroom, and the family couldn't wait to see the kids' reactions. However, it wasn't long before things took a disturbing turn. Almost immediately after the bed was set up, strange occurrences began. Sophie and Jake reported hearing soft whispers while trying to fall asleep. Imagine trying to drift off to dreamland, only to be interrupted by disembodied voices murmuring in the darkness. At first, the family dismissed these sounds as mere figments of the children's imagination. But as the nights wore on, the disturbances escalated. The Tallman family began to experience a series of unsettling events. Doors creaked open by themselves, and toys disappeared only to reappear in odd places, like the bathroom or the attic. The most perplexing occurrence was the bunk bed's ladder, which seemed to move on its own. One morning, it would be leaning against the bed, and by evening, it would be inexplicably placed in the middle of the room. The family's initial attempts to rationalize these events, attributing them to the house settling or a faulty mechanism in the bed, did little to alleviate their growing unease. The atmosphere in the Tallman home grew heavy with a combination of fear and confusion. They tried to carry on with their daily lives, but the feeling of being watched, the whispers in the night, and the bizarre occurrences left them feeling unsettled in their own home. The family's usual comfort and security were eroding, replaced by a pervasive sense of dread. Determined to understand what was happening, the Tallmans decided to investigate the history of their mysterious bunk bed. They visited the local historical society and combed through archives and old records, hoping to uncover any clues about the bed's past. What they found was both fascinating and terrifying. The bunk bed had originally belonged to the Thompson family, who had lived in the house where the yard sale was held. The Thompsons had experienced a series of tragic events that seemed almost too coincidental. There were accounts of a severe car accident that left one of their children with permanent injuries, mysterious illnesses that plagued the family, and, most chilling of all, a devastating house fire that claimed the life of Mrs. Thompson. It seemed that the bed had been present through these tragedies, witnessing the family's sorrow and suffering. As the Tallmans dug deeper, they found that the Thompson family had been active in their local community, and their misfortunes had been widely discussed. The family discovered old newspaper articles detailing the fire and the aftermath, which painted a picture of a family struggling with unexplained and heartbreaking events. It became clear that the bed was more than just a piece of furniture. It carried with it a dark and tragic history. One night, the Tallmans gathered in the living room to share their findings and discuss their experiences. The atmosphere was tense as they recounted the events that had unfolded. Jake, the eldest son, who had been particularly disturbed by the occurrences, bravely volunteered to sleep on the top bunk, hoping to confront whatever was causing the disturbances. That night, Jake settled into the top bunk with a sense of both curiosity and apprehension. As he tried to fall asleep, he felt a cold, clammy hand grip his ankle. Startled, he looked down and saw a shadowy figure standing beside the bed. The figure was dark and indistinct, its features obscured by the darkness, but the sheer terror of the encounter was undeniable. Jake's scream pierced the night, waking the entire household. The Tallmans rushed to his room, only to find him trembling and wide-eyed, recounting his chilling experience. This incident was a turning point for the Tallman family. They were no longer dealing with mere nuisances or unexplained noises. The presence in their home had become tangible and malevolent, and it was clear that they needed to take action. The most shocking incident occurred during a family gathering they had planned in an attempt to maintain a semblance of normalcy. They invited friends over, hoping to distract themselves from the mounting fears surrounding the bunk bed. The evening began pleasantly, with laughter and conversation filling the house. However, the atmosphere took a dark turn when the kids went upstairs to play. Suddenly, there was a loud crash followed by frantic banging. The family and their guests rushed upstairs to find the bunk bed completely overturned. It was as if some unseen force had violently thrown it over. The room was in disarray, and the kids were crying, clearly traumatized by the experience. The sight of the overturned bed and the terrified faces of their friends made it clear that this was not a prank or a trick of the imagination. The Tallmans were facing something truly frightening. The shock and fear were palpable. The guests, now thoroughly unsettled, left the house, and the Tallman family was left alone to confront the reality of their situation. It was at this moment that they realized they could no longer ignore the presence in their home. The situation had escalated beyond anything they could handle on their own, and they knew they needed to seek help. In their desperation, the Tallmans reached out to a local paranormal expert named Dr. Ellen Parker, known for her work in investigating and dealing with hauntings. Dr. Parker arrived at the Tallman home with her team, ready to conduct a thorough investigation. She began by conducting interviews with the family, reviewing the history of the bunk bed, and performing a preliminary assessment of the house. Dr. Parker's investigation revealed that the bunk bed was indeed the focal point of the paranormal activity. Using various equipment, including electromagnetic field meters and infrared cameras, her team detected unusual readings and recorded unexplained phenomena. The presence seemed to be connected to the tragic events associated with the bed, and it became evident that the entity was not at peace. Dr. Parker recommended performing a cleansing ritual to help resolve the disturbances. The Tallmans agreed, hoping that this would bring an end to the unsettling experiences. The ritual involved several steps, including the use of sacred herbs, chanting, and the invocation of protective spirits. The family participated in the ritual, guided by Dr. Parker, and shared their experiences and fears as part of the process. The cleansing ritual was intense and emotional. The Tallmans, united in their resolve to reclaim their home, found solace in the shared experience. As the ritual concluded, there was a noticeable shift in the atmosphere of the house. The oppressive feeling that had loomed over them seemed to dissipate, and the unsettling occurrences became less frequent. While the Tallmans never fully understood the entity that had taken residence in their home, they learned to coexist with it. They found comfort in knowing that they had confronted their fears and sought to understand the unknown. Their journey opened their eyes to the reality of the paranormal and the importance of acknowledging and addressing the past. Although the spirit remained a part of their home, they were able to restore a sense of peace and normalcy to their lives. So, what do you think? Have you ever experienced something paranormal that left you questioning reality? I'd love to hear your ghost stories and eerie encounters. Drop your experiences in the comments below and share your own chilling tales. If you enjoyed this spine-tingling account of the Tallman family and their haunted bunk bed, be sure to check out my other paranormal investigation videos. Hit that subscribe button and join me as we continue to explore the mysteries that lie beyond the realm of the ordinary. Let's uncover the unknown together.